a cubed times a to the 4th to get a to the 7th times square root of b to the 5th times b to the 10th to get b to the 15th times square root of c to the 6th times c to the 6th to get c to the 12th.
Okay, so I didn't hear what you said last, but the first few. First of all, we could say that's square root of a to the 7th, b to the 15th, square root of c to the 12th. Okay? Sometimes we want to separate them like that. It's not always necessary. Okay? I'll show you how we shortcut it both here and here. And then you said that was, what'd you do with a to the 7th? You did a to the 4th times a to the 3rd?
Yes.
Okay, so we could do a to the 4th times a to the 3rd, and b to the 5th times b to the 10th.
Yes.
And I didn't hear what you did with c.
6 and 6.
6 and 6?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that equals square root of a to the 4th times the square root of a cubed times the square root of b to the 10th times the square root of b to the 5th times the square root of c to the 6th times the square root of c to the 6th, right? And square root of a to the 4th is a squared, right? And then we have the square root of a cubed. What's the square root of b to the 10th? B to the 5th, right? So we're good with that. Everybody good with that? Mm-hmm. And then that's the times the square root of b to the 5th. And square root of c to the 6th is c cubed times c cubed, right?
Right.
Well, now we could write this as, then let's just write a squared b to the 5th c cubed times the square root of a to the 3rd times the square root of b to the 5th, right? Now, looking at this, what do you think? There are a couple of things we should probably do. What's one of them?
Did you put the c's together?
I'm sorry?
Put the c's together?
Yeah, c cubed times c cubed is c to the 6th.
Right.
And we're good with those laws. So y'all are doing real well with that. Okay? And then we have that times the square root of a cubed times the square root of b to the 5th, right?
Right.
Anything we can do with it now?
You could do something with the b's, right?
Sorry?
With the b's.
Okay, what could you do with that?
You could combine.
Yeah.
Again?
Combine them, get b to the 10th.
Do the 5th root.
Well, you can't combine a b out here with a b in here, because that's really a b to the 5 halves, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So b to the 5 halves times a b to the 5th is a b to the 10 halves plus 5 halves, b to the 15 halves, right?
Yes.
There's something wrong with that. Yeah, no it isn't, because that's what you have, b to the 15 halves here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Square root of b to the 15th is b to the 15th to the 1/2, which is b to the 15 halves. Well, whether you understand that or not, you're not going to be able to combine these because there's another exponent on the b to the 5th here, right? So unless you pull that exponent out and use it somehow, you can't do it. Well, what if I gave you just this and said, what could you do with this?
Just the square roots?
Yeah,
Okay.
if the problem was square root of a cubed times the square root of b to the 5th, what would you do?
Well, I would do square root of a cubed times
A squared times
yeah,
a.
a squared times a.
Yeah.
Then times b cubed times b squared.
You could do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or b 4 times
So
a.
there's more that can be done here, in other words.
Yes.
Well, what can be done is this, and then we're going to go back and see how it could have all been done at the beginning. You're doing real well. You're seeing that whole aspect of it. There's just one little thing that you want to see in addition. So I could say, well, that's a square root, and I'll kind of skip a step. I'll write that is the square root of a squared times the square root of a, because you know how that's gonna work, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know you'd write this as a squared times a and break it into the square root times the square root.
Right.
And then the square root of, now I'm not gonna do b squared, I'm gonna do b to the fourth, because I know I can do it, the square root of b to the fourth, can't I?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's times the square root of b. Well, now I have a squared, b to the fifth, c to the sixth, a, square root of a, b squared, square root of b, right?
Right.
Because the square root of a squared is a, the square root of b to the fourth is b squared. Okay? Well, now we're kind of almost done, but not quite, because we still have terms that we can collect, right? We have an a here that can match up with the a squared to give us an a cubed. And a b squared here that we can multiply by b to the fifth to get b to the seventh. Then we have a square root of a and a square root of b. Well, that's just going to give us the square root of ab, right?
Right.